Financial media traditionally has been extremely boring. There's an inherent element of trust that comes from being able to just sit down and with somebody that looks like you, that's in the same sort of financial circumstances, that's not trying to sell you anything, and have a discussion with that person about any myriad of different financial topics.
Now you're starting a social media meets financial retail trading platform, like Twitch meets Robinhood. You think all of that, those experiences, what were the big challenges for you transitioning from the analyst to the leading a team and being an entrepreneur?
The idea actually came about organically when I was doing research on what the next big trend was going to be in 2020 and beyond. So this is pre-pandemic. And we were really just diving deep into creator economy, retail trading revolution. And these things stood out to me as major secular trends, but there was nothing at the intersection of the two. So if we think about like how consumers have been taught to behave using social media, like everything has been influenced from fashion to travel to wellness, food, everything. And finance was starting to gain in popularity, but there was just such a lack of credible information that was out there. No one was really talking about these things in a way that I thought we could build a platform and really sort of build a community around it. So I looked at Twitch, I looked at YouTube, I looked at Robinhood and Coinbase, and I said, okay, well, we're going to take certain components of each one of these things, and we're going to combine them in a unique way to create a segment-defining company. So that's what Trading TV is. It is a fintech love child of sort of TikTok and Twitch meets Robinhood initially, and we'll be expanding into crypto, NFTs, and collectibles in the near future. So content-enabled financial services company that is all about creator economy, about community, about trading and investing, but also sort of financial wellness as well.
We cover a lot of media organizations in this podcast, and so it's really cool to see this type of model where you actually have a way to make money, I guess, from trading. But the one thing that I know personally, actually, from starting a startup is like the number one toughest thing is adoption. How are you going to bring enough people to your platform to make it relevant? Like people already enjoy Twitch, people are already on Reddit, people are on all the Reddits. Why is this something that's going to be a center for their trading?
Well, what we're doing is completely novel and unique. It's never been done before. We created tradable videos. We created tradable live streaming, and it's an experience that our early users absolutely love. And when people love that experience, they do a lot of word of mouth marketing, which is already happening. So we're already growing. But in addition to that, we're servicing financial content creators, which no one has ever built a platform to serve before. And I think the term financial content creator for us, it's very broad because it covers people that are making content about everything from stocks and options to crypto, but also DeFi, news that pertains to business technology, and even, like I said, the collectible space, so trading cards, rare sneakers. So it's quite a large group. And these people have had a really difficult time monetizing their content. So some platforms like the TikToks of the world or the YouTubes of the world won't even allow you to be able to monetize your content if you're creating content about, say, crypto or cannabis or psychedelics. So they have no monetization streams, which means that they're forced to try to push an audience from TikTok or YouTube to like a Discord server. And then you're trying to charge like a premium subscription to Discord. That has a pretty negative impact on quality, because as more people join the Discord server, it starts to become this sort of mess, and like it just becomes a bunch of shit posts, similar to how Wall Street Bets jumped the shark in the early days of the pandemic. So creators need a way to be able to not only build an audience, but to run a business. And that's what Trading TV is servicing for them.
What's the core problem with like that Discord account or another way to monetize?
It's the percentage of people that are following you that you're actually able to convert into paying customers. So because that system has so much friction in it, the attrition rate about getting people through the funnel is extremely, extremely high, like in the upper 90%. And there's a reason why Amazon became Amazon, because of the one-click checkout. So like that shouldn't be sort of like glanced over. It's a really big deal to be able to bring everything together in a holistic experience that is very seamless and as frictionless as possible, not only for the user in terms of being able to trade in the same place that they're getting the content that fuels their ideas, but for creators to be able to sell product and service. And we're starting off with subscriptions and tips and donations on the monetization side. But the thing that's also very unique about Trading TV is we are a fintech platform, which means that we're making a lot of money from the trading oriented activity and other things that have to do with financial management. And we're putting a percentage of all of that revenue into a content creator bonus pool, which we pay out on a monthly basis based on engagement. So we've already funded that bonus pool with $1 million, which is the TTV Creator Fund. And we think that this model will help make creators on Trading TV the highest paid creators in any industry on any platform, which is extremely exciting.
So you sort of had this double kind of focus, right? You're trying to attract creators, and you're also trying to attract the more important really are the traders, right? Or are they one and the same, or how does that converge?
They can be one and the same. So we do encourage people that are already having these discussions, whether it's at the bar, in the classroom, or wherever they are. They're already talking about the various stocks or cryptocurrencies, things that they're invested in. So of course, if people feel like they can create high quality content that's going to be helpful to the community, we encourage them to do it. But the model is more sort of Twitter-esque in the sense that, like, of your total users, there's a fairly small subset of creators. We service the creators first. So that's our primary customer acquisition mechanism, is to get creators to provide a really great experience for them. And once they start having a great experience, then they're creating content exclusively for Trading TV. Users then come to the platform to view that exclusive content and also to trade. So that's kind of like the customer acquisition side.
So it's a lot of video focused, or it's a lot more like Discord, or it's a lot more like Reddit? Or?
We've also been focusing on short form video initially, because this is kind of the medium that is resonating with the younger demographic. So we support 3 different types of video. It's short form video, long form video, which is more YouTube style, and then the live stream content, which is more Twitch style. And the live stream will be great for what we do in the future, which is live stream auctions for, let's say, NFTs or collectibles. So that's a really exciting product that we hope to be able to launch later this year.
I used to work at Bloomberg. I used to go into all of the trading desks of all these hedge funds and stuff. They always have the Bloomberg or CNBC playing all day on mute. So you're trying to sort of recreate that in one full form, but like unmuted. What's wrong with just watching CNBC or Bloomberg?
Financial media traditionally has been extremely boring. And that's one of the reasons why you mentioned that people just listen to it on mute. Yeah. It's, you're sitting there and you're saying you're watching it, but it's really background noise, right? So it's not really much value add if it's on mute. Our goal is obviously to get people to not only watch, but then to engage in the content. Just look at the guests that are on CNBC. I mean, most of them tend to be they come from Wall Street, which means that they have a Wall Street mentality. They're definitely more akin to like speaking down to the retail trader, the retail investor. Like, I feel like those type of platforms cater specifically to the professionals. And our generation, they don't want to learn from people like that. They want to learn from each other. And there's an inherent element of trust that comes from being able to just sit down and with somebody that looks like you, that's in the same sort of financial circumstances, that's not trying to sell you anything, and have a discussion with that person about any myriad of different financial topics.
But when you were a hedge fund manager and you were being your feet to the fire, having to make decisions on this, you were actually looking at Reddit and Wall Street Bets or those types of things, looking at the normal kind of ways that you look?
Yeah, so that's exactly when the light went off in my head, which is when you're sitting at an investment bank, you're servicing hedge fund clients, mutual fund clients, like people that are running tens of billions, in some cases trillions of dollars in assets. And they would ask you questions like, why is this particular stock on the move if there wasn't an obvious reason? So to be able to source the answers to those questions, you would normally just call up other hedge funds or other mutual funds and you'd say, hey, is there a note that I missed? Or is there some piece of data that came out or whatever? And that was a good way to be able to find answers for the first 9 or 10 years of my career. And then as Reddit and Discord and some of these other forums online started to gain in popularity, that's where I started to find the answers to these questions. And I started to have a light bulb moment. This light bulb went off in my head where I said, wow, these are actually very sophisticated people. And Wall Street's treating them like they're idiot retail investors. They actually on Wall Street refer to retail traders as dumb money. And it just simply isn't the case. Yeah, it just simply isn't the case. These people are actually much closer to the action. They have their finger on the pulse, especially when it's anything consumer facing. It's less so on sort of the B2B stocks and things like that. But almost all crypto is in some capacity consumer facing, a lot of tech stocks, a lot of consumer goods, and e-commerce companies. So these were the places I was finding the best answers.
And why do you think that is? Because are the people who are on these threads, are there a lot of people who just kind of retired and moved to Tulum and are day trading and they're just building a sort of community? Or are there people who are just young and super diligent and have just learned how to look at trends?
Our generation is out there actually living life and using these products, and these products have now recently become tradable assets. So it's very organic to move from like a fan of a particular company or their product to then starting to trade it from a financial standpoint. And when you look at like even the executives, all these companies, like they're young people, right? I mean, a lot of these companies that are now worth hundreds of billions of dollars were started by kids basically that were either in college or right after college. So it's not super surprising to me that young people tend to have a better read on what's going on in the world and the trends that are developing because they're the ones that are formulating them. And when you're a part of the formulation of it, it's easier to get in to the investment before it kind of makes its way to Wall Street. And I think that's probably more true with regard to crypto than it was with traditional equity.
What's your kind of target age range for Trade TV?
Our demographic right now is primarily 18 to 34, but we're really looking into servicing the teen market. Our belief, our fundamental belief is that trading and investing isn't just the best way to achieve financial freedom, but for the vast majority of people, unless you're lucky enough to inherit wealth, it's the only way to achieve financial freedom. So getting people involved in that journey as young as possible is critical towards being able to close the wealth gap in America. So if we can service teenagers, high school students, if we can get these people to start making better financial decisions earlier in their life, then hopefully they're in a position where they can actually live life on their own terms much before, like, let's say 65 and trying to collect Social Security or some crazy thing like that.
I don't see that as like a way necessarily for financial freedom is like starting to trade. I mean, it almost, when I hear that, I almost feel like kids are going to lose their whatever money they have. Like, you think that's really good that some people start when they're that young?
Absolutely. It's proven, like the data would suggest that the earlier you start investing, the better you are financially in life. So if you don't get started, the later it is before you get started, the more you have to contribute to your portfolio on a monthly basis just to be able to make up for all the time that you missed. Sometimes it is day trading, but oftentimes it's a long-term buy and hold solution. But mostly it's about just educating yourself on the tools that are available to you. And then we actually provide those tools on the exact same platform for super convenience. But we want people to get over this hurdle of saying, hey, I'm not going to be invested because it's too scary, it's too ominous, and because I don't know enough about it. Like, we can solve those problems through entertaining financial content and education.